That's interesting. I asked to many people, many of the top arm masters about their opinions, and majority of them believes that I have the edge.
Maybe these top arm wrestlers are telling Engin that he's the favorite against Arthur just because they want to show him some respect. Engin always used to treat these arm wrestlers with a lot of respect, and now they are just returning him the favor. So it's not like Engin isn't aware of this fact. In fact, this post clearly demonstrates it's a possibility that these arm wrestlers are just being nice to him. If we look at Engin's super matches in last 6 years, he has beaten Mindaugas Terzitis in 2019 5-0 on left, 5-0 on right. Then the same year, he lost to Arthur Makarov 3-2. In 2021, he lost to Arthur again 3-2. Then he lost to John Brezink 3-0, and then at King of the Table, he beat Coach Ray 5-1. I intentionally did not include one match which I'll be talking about towards the end of this video because that result can change the whole perspective. So Engin Terzi has been a world champion at 55, 60 kg, 65, 70, and he has been a Zloty champion at 75 kilos. At that time, Zloty and WAF used to be at the same level because basically the same athletes were competing everywhere. So he's a world champion in 5 different categories. So up to 75 kilos, Engin was able to beat everyone, but not beyond that. And now many people would assume that the level has increased. Some would assume that the top arm wrestler is still basically at the same level. I don't think anyone is going to say that the level has dropped, especially not in super matches. I've seen how arm wrestlers used to arm wrestle 15-20 years ago. There was no flop pressing and digging out of losing position back then. If you took somebody's wrist, most likely the match was over. And now arm wrestlers fight till the death. So winning a super match now is definitely going to be more difficult. So in his best shape, Engin was the 75 kg world champion. And now, self-admittedly, he is not in the best shape. He won't be in the best shape when this match happens later this year. So how can he defeat the best guy at 75 kilos? Even though the weight category for this match is 80 kilos. That sounds impossible. That's why even on Engin's own channel, he only got 19% votes. But still, when he asked the arm wrestlers, many of them, as you can see on the screen, said that Engin is the favorite, but with the condition that he needs to get into his prime form. If you ask these arm wrestlers, can Engin get in his prime form? If you ask Engin, can he get in his best shape? I think all of them are going to say no. So how is Engin the favorite? Anyways, this match is obviously not for the East versus West world title because Arthur is the 75 kg East versus West champion, and this match is happening at 80 kilos. Engin said that since the weight cap is not the same and the format, which is best of 5 here and best of 7 at East versus West for the championship matches, that's why it's not for the title. It wouldn't have been for the title even if it was a 75 kg match, even if it was a best of 7. And to be honest, I'm quite shocked. How is East versus West letting Arthur Makarov compete at GVW Sports and now letting their champion compete against Engin Terzi? Little surprising, little shocking. Arthur is a monster, but I am the hunter even though I am exhausted, old and injured. Arthur is stronger, younger and healthier, but I am more experienced, more knowledgeable and better technician. On the paper, he is the favorite, but things may depend on the shape that I will bring to the table. I slightly disagree with this experienced statement. Arthur has been arm wrestling for what, more than a decade now? At some point, the adding years have to stop counting towards the experience. It's not like somebody who's been arm wrestling for 30 years is going to be way more experienced than somebody who's been arm wrestling for 20 years. I think it basically becomes the same after a certain point. Plus, Arthur has way more recent super match experience than Engin Terzi. So he's a more experienced super match puller. On paper, he's the favorite, but things may depend on the shape that I will bring to the table, which is unknown to anyone on earth, including myself. Why did I set this match without reaching to a satisfying shape? Everyone knows me well. All knows that I like to challenge myself. It is making the adventure more exciting and more enigmatic. So by asking everyone, and I was surprised that Engin even included me in that list, Engin is putting himself under pressure. He believes that he performs better under pressure. That's why he wants everyone to say that Engin is going to lose, so that he can train even harder. Michael Todd 55% Engin, Levan 60% Engin, Paul Lin 55% Arthur, Yanis 50-50, Reno 50-50, Me 90% Arthur and Mindaugas 90% Arthur, Ivan 50-50. So somebody said in the comments that only two people are telling the truth. Obviously he was talking about me and Mindaugas. So Engin also keeps on saying that yes, Arthur is the favorite, but then if somebody tells him that Arthur is the favorite, in a funny, joking kind of way, he tries to disagree with them. Engin is under a lot of pressure. He needs to win this match. Otherwise, he won't find the mental peace which he's searching in this third Arthur Makarov match. He must win this. From my perspective, he beat me once. The second time, officially he won, but including himself, everyone who knows arm wrestling knows that that day I was better than him until I got injured. I can assure you that I would beat him one more round if my bicep wasn't torn. That's not how things work. That's not how results work. Somebody mentioned that in the comments that maybe the bicep tore because Arthur had too much horsepower, and Engin obviously disagreed with that statement. He said that no, when I applied my back pressure, I took everything about his hand and wrist. It was about applying more than I should have. So if your bench press max is 100 kilos and if you have 60 kilos on the bar and you push it as hard as fast as you can, I still don't think you can realistically apply 100% power. I think the bar will move faster than the pace you can apply the power on that bar. So I 100% believe that the bicep tear was because of Arthur's defensive power and not because of Engin's offensive power. If Arthur was that much weaker than him, then Engin wouldn't even be able to apply that much power. His arm would immediately slam Arthur's arm down to the pad. But that was not the case. I am not going there to lose against him. I am not going there to give him a good match or something. I am going there to defeat him. What's my chance? Less than Arthur's. But I have a chance. Engin has announced that this is his retirement match. I don't want that to be the case. Engin is a legend of the sport. He needs to continue. Especially when knowing that he kept on saying that maybe he's thinking about getting on TRT. If he isn't on TRT yet, then there's a lot of scope left for him. He must continue. So the match that I was talking about earlier in this video is the Viorel Dobrin match, which Engin won 6-0 quite dominantly. And few months later, Viorel Dobrin became the 85 kg WAF world champion. Now that is shocking. The guy who was the champion only up to 75 kilos basically 6-0'd the 85 kg WAF champion. So that alone can change the perspective. That's why I gave Engin about 10% chance to win this match, even though he's not going to be in the best shape. And if Engin wins this match, which I hope he does, otherwise it will be really bad for him, losing 3 times in a row to Arthur Makarov. But if he wins, I would like for him to go against Adam the Warzone Borzinski. Yes, Adam Borzinski is stronger than Arthur Makarov, but he's more vulnerable to speed. And Engin has practiced with him in the past, so he knows his weaknesses. And also, Adam is doing great. He's the 85 kg WAF silver medalist. So I hope this match also happens after this Arthur Makarov match.